Little separation between the legs. Feel expansive across the back body. And then just start to press the outer edges of your shoulders into the mat. Arms can be anywhere you like, in a V, in a T, in a stop sign. And just take a moment here to close the eyes. Quiet the mind, quiet the body. And as always, I like to start class just by doing a quick check-in, doing that little journey through the body, checking in with muscles and joints, checking in with energy level and mindset this morning. I'm just taking that little bit of information with you throughout your practice. As always, if we're doing something the body doesn't like, it's its way of keeping you safe, so heed its advice. Take a break when you need a break, take a sip when you need a sip. Locks and straps are there for use anytime you feel they be beneficial, and hopefully smile frequently. Take a few more minutes here, just quieting everything down. And then go ahead and take the knees to the chest. Let the knees get heavy. And just start to bring some movement into the ankles. Point and flex or circles. If you're circling, go in both directions. Just waking up the ankles here. Letting the heels get heavy towards the sit bones. And now go ahead and give those ankles a break. Maybe snug those knees a little closer. And now take it to a little roll from side to side. So start with the knees tight to the chest. And then as you roll, start to send those knees a little further away from the body so you can take that massage from the upper part of the spine down the spine. And maybe you find an area of the back that needs a little bit more attention. Go ahead and linger there. And maybe you make your way back up as we start to send the knees a little closer to the chest again. And now coming back to center, go ahead and float those toes down on the mat. And then take those arms out again in a T or a stop sign. And then allow those knees to start to melt to the right. Let them get heavy. Shine that left hip point up to the heavens. The goal here is to keep those shoulders nice and grounded. Welcome to take a block underneath the bottom knee or between the knees if you'd like. But allow that top knee to get a little heavier. Find a bit more space through the hip and to the side body. And if you like, go ahead and start to take that left ear towards the mat. And let's just take a little linger here. And then come on back to center with the gaze. Come on back to center with the knees. With the next exhale, we're going to allow those knees to get heavy and melt towards the left. Shine that right hip point to the heavens. Keep the shoulders grounded. And just notice how that stretch feels to start. The difference from one side to the other. And then once again, welcome to take that right ear towards the mat. And again, paying attention to the difference in the neck as well. And now come on back to center with the gaze. Come on back to center with the knees. Go ahead and send that left leg down the mat and float that right knee closer to the chest and release your fingers on that shin. Allow that knee to get nice and heavy. Start to notice what's going on in the back of that hamstring. And now keeping that left sit bone grounded, Start to allow that right knee to float to the outside of that right shoulder. So find some length to that inner thigh here. And now let's linger here. Float that knee back to where it started. We're going to take that left hand to that right knee. We're going to find a single knee twist this time. Allow that knee to get heavy as it melts across the body. Taking this twist a little deeper again, really important that we keep that shoulder grounded. Notice as that stretch starts to migrate a little higher up into the rib cage now. Hold here. And now come on back to center. Float that knee to the chest again. A little snug. And now set it down to that. Float that left knee to the chest. Interlace your fingers on that shin. Allow that knee to get heavy one more time. And just notice how this thing starts to feel. Into the hamstring, back of the hip. And now on the next exhale, float that knee to the outside of that left shoulder, finding space now on the left inner thigh. Hold here. And come on back to center. Take that right hand to left knee. Keep the left shoulder grounded. Find your twist here. And again, just notice how different a single knee stretch feels versus the double knee twist. Do you feel the stretch in the same place? Last breath here. Go ahead and roll onto your back. Snug that knee a little closer. And now this time we're going to leave the left knee here. We're going to float the right knee alongside. We're going to take the knees on either side of the torso, making your way to happy baby. Take the feet towards the heaven, clasp the knee to the outside of the ankles, to the bottom of the feet. Welcome to take a strap across the arches of the feet. And again, take it to a little roll from side to side. And now start to play with your happy baby. Maybe start to extend through one leg as you float one knee towards the mat. Let's do a roll once more to each side. And now come on back center. We're going to take those feet onto the mat, setting up for bridge pose. But before we take it to a bridge, we're going to come into a supported bridge. So reach for your block. Have those heels close enough that you can graze them with your middle fingers. Feel grounded and rooted through the sit bones. And now start to imprint. And just hold the imprint first before we take the hips up. Start to wake up the belly a little bit. And as we flatten out the spine and engage the core. So press that spine nice and flat. And just holding this right now, we're going to create some heat in through the torso and through the belly here. Let's hold for a few more breaths. And now go ahead and relax that. You'll notice the natural curve of the spine comes back. We're going to take the hips up this time. So have your blocking hand. Imprint once again. That tailbone lifts. And now pull each of the consecutive vertebrae up just enough so that you can slide that block at any height underneath your sit bones. And then let those sit bones get really heavy. Feel grounded and connected here. We're just going to take a moment, not doing anything in particular, just allowing those sit bones to get heavier and heavier. Really important that you keep your gaze straight up to the heavens here, protects the neck. And now start to walk the feet towards the edges of the mat. And when they get there, go ahead and allow those knees to start to melt together and get heavy. And now press those knees together. See where you're finding your stretch. It may be through the outside of the upper thighs. It may be in through the calves a little bit. Just hold here. Take the last breath here. You're going to start to pull those knees apart and walk those feet back in line with the hips. We're going to keep that left foot on the mat, and we're going to start to extend through that right leg, taking the heel onto the mat. The leg is straight. And now start to send the ball lungs of the toes towards the mat. So like you're pressing an accelerator. You don't have to touch the floor, but you should feel a nice open to the front of that right hip flex. So real linger here now. Now, some people like to do 2 legs at a time. I think it's a little too much in the morning personally, but that's always an option as well. Pardon me. Last breath here. Go ahead and pull that foot back in underneath that right knee. And then when it arrives, go ahead and start to extend through that left leg. Bring that left heel towards the mat. And now send the sole of the foot towards the floor. Noticing any difference, again, from one side of the body versus the other. Hold here. Last breath here. Go ahead and start to bring that foot back underneath the knee. And again, let the sit bones get heavy here. And now root through the feet. We're going to start to pull the hips up, finding a bridge. And reach underneath it, grab that block and take it off to the side. Slowly bring the hips back down, the sit bones back down on the mat. And now float the knees to the chest one more time. Snug those knees in, and then just relax this tailbone back onto the mat. Let that back get flat. Bring the knees to the chest again. Extend away. Last time, knees to the chest. And send them away. We're going to take our hands on each kneecap. We're going to start to separate those knees apart and take it to little circles. So we're getting into those hip sockets here. Start off maybe smaller, and maybe let those circles grow a little bit more. And now take a pause, whichever direction you were going in, we're just going to reverse that. Let's do one more in this direction. And then go ahead and take those feet on the floor. We're going to come into some a cobbler's pose on our back here. So start to let those knees get heavy towards the mat, under edges of the mat. Bring the soles of the feet together. And then you decide how close those heels are from the torso. We're just going to take a moment here. Take one hand to belly and one hand to heart. Close the eyes, connecting with the breath again. Start to press the outsides of those feet together, allowing those knees to get a little heavier here. And with hand on belly and heart, feel the rise of the torso on each inhale. Feeling a little more grounded and settled. Each exhale. A few more breaths here. Allow those knees to get still a little heavier. Last breath here. We're going to take the hands to the outside of the legs and bring those legs together. And we're going to roll onto our left side with bent knees. We're going to access our quadriceps from here this today instead of our hero's pose. So keep those knees in line with the hips. Now welcome to grab the strap. We're going to start to send that right heel towards the buttocks. So if that's too much of a reach for your hand to clasp, grab the strap, make a little lasso, and lasso that ankle. Support the head and start to float that knee in line with the hip, and now start to send that heel a little closer. Now, if this is easily accessible for you, you want still a little bit more, start to float that knee in behind the hip. So you'll find that you'll open out not only just through the quadricep, but through the front of that right hip flexor. Let's linger here. We're going to go ahead and release that. And we're just going to float back onto our backs. And then we're going to roll to the other side. Just going to do a little switch here so I can see you better. So again, supporting that head, taking those knees in line with the hips. And then once again, take that knee up in line with that left hip and start to encourage that heel towards the buttocks. So again, either clasp it with the hand or your strap. If you want more, send that knee further back. We'll open up a bit more to the belly of the quadricep. We'll get into that hip flexor once again. Hold here. Last breath here. Once again, go ahead and roll onto your back. And this time, let's float those knees to the chest. Just give yourself a little rock and roll once again. So if we create any tension through the back, we want to make sure that we release it. And now coming back to center, we're going to start to take our roll from shoulder to tailbone. We're going to do that 3 times, and we're going to roll our way up to a neutral tabletop position. Wrist, elbows, and shoulders are stacked. Knees are underneath the hips. We're going to find our way to cat-cow. So hands are really active. On the inhale, we pull up through the tailbone, the gaze, the front body. And then on the exhale, chin to chest, tuck that tailbone and puff that back up. So then just roll through your cat-cow at your own pace. Let's do one more together. Now Now coming back to neutral table, we're gonna thread the needle. So we're gonna inhale, right arm high, big reach to the stars, and on the exhale, thread it underneath that left arm. Bring the ear and shoulder onto the mat. And even though there's lots of options here, you can stay where you are, pressing the fingers to the mat. You can take that left foot back if you like. Take that left arm up to the heavens and wrap it around and tuck it in that right hip crease, but reach with that right arm off to the left and open that heart. Take a pause here. Last breath here. Go ahead and unravel. Let's make our way to a neutral tabletop. Let's do one cat-cow in between sides. Inhale. Finding more length to the front belly. Exhale, chin to chest. Back to neutral table. Inhale, left arm high, big reach. Exhale, thread it underneath that right arm. And again, you decide what has to happen on the right side of the body to deliver the stretch that you're looking for today. Hold here. Last breath here. Once again, unravel. Let's make our way to neutral table. One cat-cow. Big breath in. Exhale. Now, start to bring those big toes together. Take those knees as wide as your mat. We're going to find our way to child's pose as we float the hips back. Extend through the spine. And then soften belly and forehead to mat. Take a pause. With the next exhale, let's start to walk the hands off to the right. Maybe left hand floats on top of right. On a nice big side body stretch as we send that left hip a little further back. Pause here. Walking the hands back through center. We're going to send the hands off to the left. Maybe right hand floats on top of left. Send that right sit bone further back. Hold here. We're now coming back to center. A little pause here. And once again, we're going to make our way back to a neutral tabletop position. Float that left leg off to the side in line with the hip. The sole of the foot is on the mat and the toes point forward. So start to press that foot into the mat. And just by doing that, you should feel an opening through the inner thigh once again. And now from here, if you'd like, you can start to send those hips further back. Keep that sole of the foot on the mat. Welcome to come onto your forearms, or welcome to take blocks underneath your forearms. But as we root through that foot and we send that hip further back, you should find more length to that side leg. The adductor, hold here. And now releasing that, coming back onto your hands. We're gonna walk the hands back, leave the foot where it is. We're gonna inhale that right arm high. And then just float that forearm on that left hip. Big reach, and then on the exhale, start to bend and reach the right fingers towards those left toes. Take a pause here. So gazes forward to start. With that next exhale, start to turn slightly as we send the heart towards the heavens. Take a pause here. And release that. Taking both hands onto the mat, neutral table. Now drag that foot behind you in line with the hip. Press the toes into the mat. And next exhale, start to send that heel towards the mat. Find a calf stretch here. Take a pause. Beautiful. And go ahead and release that. Float that knee back and underneath the hip where it started. And now let's even things out. We're going to send that right leg off to the side in line with the hip. Sole of the foot is on the mat, on the floor. Press that foot into the mat. And now maybe we start to send those hips further back. So again, making your way on the blocks or forearms, whatever makes sense. Maybe just keeping those hands on the block is perfect. But we send those hips back, we root down through that foot and find some length. And again, noticing the difference between one side versus the other. Do you feel the stretch in the same place? Do we know we're not very symmetrical? Last breath here. We're going to start to release that. We're going to make our way back onto our hands and then just walk back. Nice tall upright position. So again, taking that right forearm, just rest on that right hip. Send that left arm up. Big reach. Like we're going to touch the heavens, and on the exhale, start to find your stretch as we send the left fingers towards the right foot. And again, gazes forward to start. And now start to send that gaze up to the heavens, opening up to the heart. I'm going to take a pause here. And now release that, cover it up, nice tall stacked spine. Making our hand way back to a neutral table as we drag that right foot behind us in line with the hip. Press the toes into the mat. And then when you're ready, send that heel back on your calf stretch on this side. Hold here. Last breath here. Go ahead and float that knee back to where it was. One cat-cow. Big breath in. Exhale. Coming back to neutral table. We're going to take the forearms onto the mat. Elbows are underneath the shoulders, clasping the hands. Curl the toes under, and now start to send the hips up. We're going to make our way to dolphin, but just for a few breaths here. Walk the hands forward. Walk the feet forward. Stack the shoulders over the elbows. And maybe the forehead, nose, or chin floats over the knuckles. Hold here. So this is just like plank for your shoulders. It builds strength and stability. Last breath here. Go ahead and take a walk back. And now take the knees to the mat. We're going to take our hands back on the mat. Curl the toes under. And float the hips up. Our first downward dog. Send the hips from side to side. And now take a big breath in. On the exhale, float forward. Find your way to plank just for a breath. Take the knees down to the mat first if you prefer. And we're going to bring belly on the mat. Uncurl the toes. Inhale, baby cobra to start. So roll the shoulders away from the ears, opening up through the back. Hip points into the mat, tops of the feet pressing in the mat. Go ahead and release forehead to mat, let it all go. We'll do that 2 more times. Big breath in. Exhale, coming up and falling cobra. Maybe we come up a little higher this time. And keep those shoulders away from the ears. Shine that heart forward. And release. One final time. Big breath in. On the exhale, come on up and find your expression of cobra. And release. Get into the shoulders here. Send that right arm straight out like a T. Palm faces down. Take those left fingers and tent them underneath that left shoulder. Next exhale, start to roll onto that right side. So we feel that opening through the front of the deltoid and the pec. Welcome to take the left foot behind you. Welcome to press those left fingers to the mat or send that left arm up or float that arm back. But find that stretch that feels just right this morning. Hold here. And release that, coming back onto the belly. We're going to switch it up. Take that left arm straight up. Take the right fingers underneath that right shoulder. When you're ready, float to the outside of that left hip. And again, you decide what happens on the right side of the body to live the stretch that you're looking for this morning. And hold. And go ahead and release that. And back onto the belly. Take the hands alongside the chest one more time. Rooting through the tops of the feet. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, release that. Last time, yogi's choice. Inhale, cobra or up dog. And this time on the exhale, we're going to start to send the hips back, making our way to downward dog. Walk it up. We're going to inhale, leg high, 3-legged dog. And then on the exhale, bend that knee, start to let that right foot get heavy, find some space in that right hip. But don't let that left hip pop out where the energy is straight back. Let's pause here. Welcome to do this on your forearms if you prefer, or on your knee. And now go ahead and extend through that right leg, 3-legged dog. Inhale, knee to nose, and step that leg through. But this time we're going to make our way to warrior 2. So spin that heel, heel to arch, or heel to heel stance. Keep that right knee staying as it tracks the outside of that foot. Send the arm straight out and extend, hold here. Really root to the outside of that back foot. Now flip that right palm to the heavens. We're going to find our angle on here. Once more, flip that forearm onto the thigh. Extend through that left arm, and then on the exhale, take the left palm parallel to the mat. So welcome to stay here. Lots of options. Welcome to take that right hand onto a block, or welcome to come into a bind, yogi's choice. If you're binding, try not to look down. Try to send that heart forward. Pause here. Beautiful. And then go ahead and release that. Coming up and find warrior two. Float that left hand under the thigh or wrap it around that hip crease. Flip the right palm to the heaven. On the inhale, just a little reach forward, and on the exhale, send that arm up, exalted warrior. Again, we're rooting through the outside of that back foot. We're keeping that right knee safe. Pause here. Last breath here. Once again, let's find warrior two. For a pause. Now turn to face the front of your mat. Hands on either side of the foot, step on back. It's transition time. Always yoga's choice. You can stay in downward dog. You can take a little reprieve in child's pose, or you can enjoy the flow. It's your opportunity to dial things up or dial things back, depending on how you're feeling this morning. And again, we don't feel the same from day to day, so we may not expect our practice to be the same from day to day. Regardless of what you choose, we'll end up back and downward dog. And we're going to even things out. So when you're ready, go ahead and float that left leg high. On the exhale, bend that knee, find some space on that left side this time. Energy is straight back. That right hip is not popping out. We hold here. Last breath here, go ahead and extend that left leg straight back, three-legged dog. Inhale, knee to nose, step on through, finding warrior two. Let's flip around to see if it's better. So again, root to the outside of that right foot. Keep that left knee safe and extend. Take a pause here. Now let's find our side angle by flipping that left palm, floating that arm to thigh. Sending that right arm up, big reach, and then on the exhale, send that arm parallel. So again, any option here, staying as you are, finding a block or finding a bind, yogi's choice. Hold. Last breath here. Come on up, find warrior two again. Check your knee, keep it safe. And now float that right hand to thigh or wrap it around to that hip crease. Left palm to the heavens. Inhale, a little reaching on the exhale. Exalted warrior. Take a pause. Last breath here. Once again, find your warrior two. Just for a breath. And now wiggle the hands on either side of that foot. Step on back to downward dog to start. And then make your way to any transition that will put a smile on those faces this morning. Beautiful. And making your way to downward dog once again when you're ready. We're going to bend those knees generously and start to walk those feet towards the hands, finding your way to your first forward fold. So hands can be on mats, they could be on shins, they could be on blocks, but root down through all four corners of the feet. Soften the heart towards the thighs. And let gravity do its thing here. Taking hands to shins or the mat, inhale to a flat back, extend through that back. Hold here. Release that forward fold, there you go. And this time over here, just go ahead and gently shake the head back and forth. A little nod from side to side. a little shake back and forth. Nice and slow, just letting gravity again do its thing, create a bit more space through the cervical vertebrae. And then release that. Let the head just get heavy, no movement. And reach for a strap this time. Hopefully you've got one handy. And we're gonna start to drag that strap up the legs. We start to straighten up one vertebrae at a time. Nice tall stack spine. Probably some shoulder flossing here. So go ahead and unravel that strap. And we're going to take it in our hands. And want to make sure that you give yourself lots of length here. You can always start to take those hands a little closer in time. So have some tautness on that strap and inhale the strap up above the head. So maybe you want to adjust and get a little bit more space here. And on the exhale, we're going to start to let that strap get heavy as it melts behind us. You decide how far it goes as we send it towards the sit bones. Inhale, come on up. Exhale, float it on to the thighs. So again, make any adjustments with the length of the clasp so that you're not clunking. Come on up. Those shoulders are rotating together. It's not one and then the other. Exhale back. That infamous clunk does not feel good, especially this early in the morning. Inhale up. Exhale, float to the thighs. Let's do this one more time. Big breath in. Exhale. Come on up. And now walk the hands a little closer together. Just slightly wider than the shoulders. Inhale, grow a little taller into the spine. Like you're going to reach the stars. And then on the exhale, start to lean to the right. Send that left hip away. Find that nice side body stretch once again. Hold here. Inhale, rise up, tall spine. Next exhale, start to lean to the left, send that right hip away. Let's pause here. And rise up. Go ahead and just take that strap around the neck, leave it there. And now making sure that our ankles, knees, and hips are stacked. We're going to roll the shoulders away. Take a moment of mountain pose. Close the eyes. Let everything settle. But we're active. We're pulling those kneecaps up to the hips so the thighs are active. The feet are rooted into the mat. The spine is tall. The core is engaged. And the shoulders are soft away from the ears. And start to imagine growing roots through that left foot. We're going to do a couple of different balancing poses this morning. When you feel connected on that left side, open up your eyes, find a drishti, so something that's not going to move on you. We're going to come into tree pose to start. So start to float that either heel to the ankle, foot to the shin, or taking that foot to the inner thigh. It's early, don't be afraid to grab a wall or a chair if you've got the wiggles. The more you wiggle, the more your proprioceptors fire, the more stability you create. So hands can come to heart center. They can remain there. You can grow your branches with your arms overhead. Yogi's choice. Let's linger here. Last breath here. The hands are up. Bring them to heart center. And slowly release that foot. Give those legs a little. We're going to even things out. Now start by just imagining going roots through that right foot, feeling tethered, connected to the earth. And then when you're ready, go ahead and you decide where that left foot goes. And because we walk on flat ground, those proprioceptors don't get much of a workout. Really important that we challenge them. They keep our joints safe when we walk, especially as we get older. And again, if the hands are above the head, bring them together, send them to the heart. And release that foot, give those legs a bit of a wiggle. So we're gonna come into big toe pose here, we're gonna extend. So first option is with the strap. We're gonna start by rooting down through that left side one more time. You can take that strap and support the foot. We'll eventually bring that foot to knee in line with the hip. If you're gonna not use your strap, you reach down with the big peace fingers and grab your big toe. And then rooting down through that left side, start to extend through that right leg. Hold here. Left hand can be used for balance. And now start to open up, sending that leg off to the right. Again, hold here. Return back to where we started. Soften that knee. Release that foot. Give those legs a go. Once again, root down through that right side, feeling grounded and connected first. Then you'll start to bend that left knee. Again, either strap that sole of the foot or grab your peace fingers on the left side. And then when you're ready, start to extend. You'll notice that one side is going to be more cooperative. One side is going to be a little bit more of a challenge. And then when you're ready, start to send that leg off to the left. Opening up. Take a pause here. If you fall out, just get right back in. Come back to where we started at center. Bending that knee, releasing that foot. Give those legs a little wiggle. Take a great big breath in. On the exhale, take a bow. Forward, forward. Go ahead and get rid of your strap. And now this time, let's all grab opposite elbow with opposite hand and just have a little sway from side to side. And now release the clasp on the elbows, taking the hands to mat. Bend the knees generously. Start to walk the feet back. Find your way to plank. Just for a breath or two here. Welcome to take it to your knees. Welcome to take it to your forearms. And if your knees are already on the mat, go ahead and leave them there. If not, take your knees to the mat, bring them together. Uncurl the toes, float the hips back, shell pose. Hips get heavy to the heels. We made this beautiful little ramp for a torso. Let the head get heavy to the mat. Send the arms back, palms up. Take a breath. Last breath here. We'll start to pull the torso away from the thighs, stacking the spine, making our way onto the sit bones. So extend through the legs. Inhale, arms up the hat, big breath in. Exhale, take a bow. So again, the strap is alongside you if you choose to use it. Just let everything get heavy. Rooting through the sit bones and extending through the spine. Can you find a bit more length? And release that. Come on, so again, we know that your strap is handy should you choose to use it. We're going to find our number 4 from a seated position here. So take that right ankle onto that left thigh. Allow that right knee to get heavy. So if you're strapping your arch of the foot, nice tall spine, holding on to that. And if not, we're just going to start to send the torso towards the legs. But again, rooting down to the sit bones, extending to the spine, finding length. Let's take a pause here. Last breath here. Okay, release the strap if you're holding on, just come back to nice tall stack spine. Take that foot onto the mat, drag that foot as close to the hip as you can, sole of the foot is on the mat, snug that knee a little closer, grow a little taller. You're gonna take that right hand behind you. It's stacked, wrist, elbows, and shoulders, fingers point away. Inhale, left arm up to the heavens, big breath in, and then on the exhale, we start to gaze behind that right shoulder, bringing left elbow to knee or left hand to right shoulder. Find your twist here. And release that. Come on back to center. Extend that right leg straight out. Go ahead and float that left ankle to right, just above the knee on the right thigh. Again, let that knee get heavy. Noticing the difference, even just on the setup, how you're feeling. Straps available for you. Inhale, grow a little taller. Exhale, find your fold. Again, noticing the difference between one side versus the other. We're going to linger here. Last breath here, go ahead and stack the spine. Take that left foot onto the mat. Snug it up as close to that hip as you can. Root down through that foot, grow a little taller. And now taking that arm behind you, wrist, elbows, and shoulders are stacked. Float that right arm high to heavens, big breath in, and then on the exhale, start to peek behind you. Elbow to knee or hand to shoulder, find your twist. Last breath here. Once again, unravel, gazing forward, and just send that left leg straight up. Give those legs a bit of a shake. And while we're doing that, just bring some circles into the hands, into the wrists. Opposite direction. Give those wrists a bit of a shake. Then we're going to start to take the spine to the mat, one vertebrae at a time. So welcome to take feet to mat first. If you want a bit more of a challenge with the core, leave the legs extended. So have a block handy. We're going to use it one more time before we close off today. To start to take the spine to the mat, one vertebrae at a time. And when you get all the way down onto the mat, float the knees to the chest one more time. Give yourself a little rock and roll. And again, you play with where those knees are in relationships, the torso. Maybe finding that sweet spot that needs a little more attention this morning. And now coming back to center, we're going to float those feet back onto the mat. So we're setting up the bridge pose once more. So again, start by imprinting through the spine. That tailbone lifts, hold just for a breath here. And now have your block handy. As we're imprinting, we're going to pull up each vertebrae up one at a time, just high enough so that we can take our block at any height underneath the sacrum again, that beautiful big triangular bone. Let those sit bones get heavy. Gaze again, stay straight up towards the heavens to protect the neck. Take the arms alongside the block. Interlace your fingers in front of that block just so it doesn't move. Feel really heavy through the sit bones. Now let's take that right knee above the hip and extend that leg straight up. Take that left knee above the hip and extend that leg straight up. Now you know that if you don't like this, you can do something else. But close the eyes, feel the thigh bones settling deep in the hip sockets, feeling the heaviness of the sacrum on the block that supports it. And while we're here, I'm going to invite you to take that little inventory check of the body one more time, checking in with muscles and joints, checking in with your headspace, your energy level, noticing any differences you feel now versus when you first came to class. And you're welcome to keep those legs together if you like. You can start to let those legs get heavy as they melt towards the opposite directions. Yogi's choice. We're going to be here for a few more breaths for sure. And while we take our last couple breaths in this pose, see if you can determine how you'd like to spend your final Shavasana. Curating the perfect supported pose using your blocks and props, blankets, anything that you have handy that's going to make the experience a little more comfortable. And if you have that information, we're going to start to release from this pose. We bend the right knee and send that right foot to mat. Once it arrives, we're going to bend that left knee, send that left foot to mat. Rooting through the feet, float those hips up just enough so that you can remove that block. Let the sit bones get heavy. And then when you're ready, make your way to your version of Shavasana. Connect with the breath, quiet the mind, quiet the body. Finding that place on the mat where you can completely surrender. Settle in. slowly, kindly, and gently, and start to introduce some awareness back to the body. But we'll start with the extremities. Start to work your way towards the torso. Maybe a great big stretch. So the energy of the opposite directions feels really nice. Perhaps you want to go inside, so. And then if and when you're ready, we're to find our way to a comfortable position. Stack spine. Bring hands to heart center. A gentle bow of the heart, always in gratitude that we're willing to make it to our mats, that we had the initiative to do so, and for each other, which keeps us true to our mat. Thanks for joining me this morning. I honor the place in you where the whole universe resides, and when you are in that place in you, and I'm in that place in me, we are one. Namaste.